Space was quiet, but not peaceful. It was the kind of silence that came after too much death. A small refugee ship drifted near the dark edge of a forgotten star system. Inside it were tired families, wounded soldiers, and frightened children. Their world had been attacked only hours ago. The enemy, the Krell Dominion, had chased them non-stop. Now their engines were weak, their shields were broken, and their hope was almost gone. The ship's captain, an old man named Rin Hale, stood at the control panel. His hands shook as he stared at the warning lights. One engine was overheating. The life support system was falling apart. Their food supply was running out, and the Krell ships were closing in. The refugees could see the enemy through the windows, dark metal shapes in the distance, growing larger each minute. Their sharp wings cut through the starlight like blades. Their red engines glowed like burning eyes. Everyone knew what would happen next. The Krell did not take prisoners. A quiet panic spread through the crowd. Mothers held their children tightly. Injured soldiers whispered last messages to each other. The ship felt colder, as if space itself was preparing to swallow them. Then, suddenly, the lights flickered. The ship sensors started to shake. The navigation screen glitched. Captain Rin frowned. "Report," he said. His young officer checked the controls. "Sir, something strange is happening. Space in front of us is bending." "Bending?" Rin repeated. "What do you mean bending?" Before the officer could answer, the stars outside the window started to twist. Their shapes stretched and folded like melting glass. The darkness rippled, as if someone had dropped a stone into a black ocean. Everyone stared in shock. The Krell fleet also noticed the disturbance. Their ships slowed. Their weapons powered up, aiming at the strange event forming ahead. The refugees held their breath. A deep humming vibration moved through the small ship. It felt like a giant heartbeat. The twisted space grew darker. A shadow formed in the middle of the distortion. Huge, silent, and impossible. "Is that a ship?" someone whispered. No one answered. No one could. The shadow grew larger and more defined. A long black hull appeared first, then sharp edges, then enormous engines that did not glow like normal engines. They seemed to drink in the light around them. Captain Rin felt a chill down his spine. Whatever it was not Krell. It was something else. One of the children pointed at the window. "Look, it's coming out of nothing." And that is exactly what it looked like. The giant warship pushed through the distortion as if space were only a curtain it could tear apart. In seconds, the impossible ship was fully visible. Silent, dark, and completely unfamiliar. The Krell ships froze. The refugees fell into stunned silence. The officer shouted, "Captain! I'm reading a human signature." Captain Rin's heart stopped. "Human? That's not possible. There are no human fleets in this region." "But the signal is clear," the officer said. "It is human, and very old." The giant warship didn't send any greetings. It didn't answer any hails. It simply floated there, motionless, like a sleeping monster that had just opened one eye. The Krell commander barked orders across the open channel. "Unknown vessel. Identify yourself." There was no reply. "Unknown vessel. You are in Krell territory. Respond or be destroyed." Still nothing. The warship remained perfectly still. No engine flare. No weapon activation. Just quiet. Too quiet. Captain Rin stared at the ship, feeling something he had not felt in a long time. Fear. Not fear of the Krell. Fear of the thing that just appeared from nowhere. "What kind of human ship is that?" the officer whispered. Rin shook his head. "I have never seen anything like it." The refugees weren't sure whether to feel hope or terror. Then, something changed. The dark warship's hull lit up with thin glowing lines, soft blue patterns, like veins of light waking from a long sleep. The energy spread across the entire structure, humming with a strange rhythm. All Krell ships reacted instantly. Alarms sounded. Weapons locked on. Engines powered up. They were scared. The Krell commander shouted again, voice cracking this time. "Identify yourself." And then, finally, the warship answered. A deep, cold transmission echoed across all channels. Earth never left. The words were spoken calmly, but they carried a power that made everyone freeze. Before anyone could react, the warship moved. Not slowly. Not with heavy engine thrust. It vanished. Then reappeared behind the Krell fleet in less than a second. The refugees gasped. How did it do that? Someone cried. The Krell panicked. Their ships fired wildly, missing every shot. The warship returned fire once. Only once. A single pulse of white energy. A silent flash. 3 Krell ships exploded at the same time, turning into bright fireballs in the darkness. The refugees couldn't believe their eyes. Captain Rin whispered, "What kind of human ship has that kind of power?" The officer swallowed. "Sir, I don't think that ship is normal. I don't think its crew is normal either." The warship was silent again, floating like a ghost in the darkness. One thing was clear. It had not come to save only the refugees. It had come with a purpose. A purpose no one understood yet. But they would soon, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The battlefield had fallen quiet, but tension still hung in the air like thick smoke. The mysterious human warship floated in the darkness, its black armor reflecting only the dying flames of the destroyed Krell ships. Inside the small refugee vessel, everyone stared at the silent giant. Captain Rin Hale could not look away. He felt something strange. Fear mixed with hope, mixed with confusion. A human warship appearing from nowhere. With such power, it made no sense. How did humans build something like that? A soldier whispered. Maybe it's not human at all, another murmured. But the officer shook his head. The signature is real. It came from Earth technology, but very old Earth. No one knew what that meant. While the refugees watched from a distance, the inside of the strange warship remained dark, cold, and hollow. Its corridors were made of black metal that seemed alive. Lights were dim, as if the ship preferred shadows. At the center of the vessel, in a circular chamber filled with glowing blue screens, stood the man the galaxy would later call the Ghost Captain. His real name was Commander Eric Voss. Face scarred from old battles, eyes sharp as if they could cut through steel. He stared at the Krell fleet on a holographic display. His voice was quiet when he spoke, but every word carried weight. 3 Krell ships destroyed, he murmured. But the main fleet is still forming. They will attack again. A female officer beside him nodded. Sir, they are calling for reinforcement vessels. We will soon face a larger force. Commander Voss didn't react. He did not show fear. He did not show anger. He simply watched. Good, he finally said. The officer frowned. Good, sir. Let them gather, Voss said. Let them think they can remove us. The more they send, the more we will expose. He turned to the main console. Prepare the shadow drives, he ordered. Prepare the silent cannons. And keep our identity hidden. Yes, Commander. As she worked, the glowing blue lines on the ship's walls pulsed gently, like the beating of a giant heart. Back on the refugee ship, the passengers grew more nervous. What if that warship is dangerous for us too? Someone whispered. Captain Rin took a deep, shaky breath. We need to contact them. If they are truly human, they might help. But what if they don't? A mother asked. What if their weapons turn on us next? Rin had no answer. Their communicator crackled. A faint signal appeared. Unknown vessel. Do you read us? This is the refugee transport Ravel. Static responded. No voice. Rin lowered his head. It's ignoring us. But the truth was different. Inside the warship, Commander Voss watched their message play on a small, flickering display. The officer asked, Sir, should we respond? They are civilians. Commander Voss remained silent for a few seconds. Then he said, Not yet. As the officer returned to her station, Commander Voss touched a small metal device on his wrist. It displayed an old symbol, a circle with 3 lines. A symbol from Earth. A symbol no one in the galaxy had seen for many years. He closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered flames. He remembered screaming. He remembered the day Krell forces invaded Earth's outer colonies. He had been a commander then. Young. Hopeful. He believed peace was possible. He was wrong. Earth fought back. Hard. But the price was high. Later, Earth created special warships. Silent, powerful, invisible to most sensors. Warships built for one purpose. To stop the Krell forever. Eric Voss had been chosen to command the first one. But something happened during the final test mission. Something that forced Earth to hide. Something the galaxy never learned. And now Voss was here, returning from the shadows. The remaining Krell ships began forming new attack lines. Their commanders shouted orders across secured channels. Destroy the human vessel before reinforcement arrives. Load plasma torpedoes. Do not let it escape. They thought they understood their enemy. They didn't. On the warship's bridge, the officer said, Krell ships moving into attack position. Commander Voss nodded slowly. Activate the ghost field. The officer hesitated. Sir, that system is unstable. We will not survive without it. She swallowed hard. Yes, Commander. The lights in the chamber dimmed. The glowing blue lines on the walls brightened. The entire ship vibrated softly. Then the human warship disappeared. Not vanished completely, but faded into something like a shadow. The Krell sensors went wild. Where did it go? Find it. It was right in front of us. The refugees stared at the empty space in horror. The ship, it's gone, the captain whispered. Did it escape? Someone asked. Rin wasn't sure. Or maybe it's still here. They had no idea how right he was, and the silence between stars. Commander Voss watched the enemy ships through the ship's shadow systems. Target their command vessel, he said quietly. Aye, Commander. The warship reappeared behind the biggest Krell ship like a nightmare stepping out of darkness. Before the Krell could react, Voss spoke his next command. Fire! A single beam of cold blue light erupted. The Krell command ship split in half. Exploded. Silence followed. Every survivor, Krell or refugee, felt the same thing. Something far more dangerous than the Krell had now entered the war. And it was only the beginning. The destruction of the Krell command ship sent shockwaves across the battlefield. Fire, metal, and fragments drifted like glowing ash in the cold darkness. But the real shock was not the explosion. It was the silence that followed it. Every Krell vessel stopped firing. Every refugee held their breath. Even space seemed to freeze. The human warship, the one that had appeared from nowhere, hovered behind the burning remains of the Krell flagship. Its dark hull reflected only the distant stars, not the flames it had created. It looked calm and terrifying. Captain Rin Hale watched from the window of the refugee ship. His voice trembled. What kind of power is this? No one answered. No one could. Commander Eric Voss stood at the center platform, watching the enemy fleet regroup on the screens. His face stayed cold, unreadable, almost carved from stone. Status? He asked. His officer responded, Shadow field stable for now, sir. Silent cannons charged. Enemy ships are forming a new attack wave. How many? 17, Commander. Let them come. The officer swallowed. Sir, if we continue at this pace, we risk burning out the core. We don't have a choice, Voss said. Not while civilians are still in danger. His voice never rose. He never looked afraid. But inside, something heavy twisted in his chest. He had seen this before. Krell chasing helpless people, cornering them, destroying them without mercy. It reminded him too much of the past. Too much of Earth's darkest hour. The Krell commander finally broke the silence. His command ship had been destroyed, but he survived on a secondary vessel. His voice echoed across the Krell fleet. All units, attack. Do not let the human ghost ship escape. Red lights flashed across every Krell cruiser. Engines roared. Weapons charged. The refugee ship shook as beams of red energy streaked past. Captain Rin grabbed the control panel. Get us out of the line of fire. We can't, the officer yelled. Engines are too weak. They were trapped between a war they could not escape, and a human vessel they did not understand. A child cried behind them. An old man whispered a prayer. Then the Krell opened fire. Beams, torpedoes, plasma blasts, everything shot toward the human warship. But the ship did something strange. It didn't dodge. It didn't shield. It simply shifted. The space around it bent like a mirage, and the attack slid past as if hitting invisible walls before disappearing into darkness. The refugees gasped. What was that? Did it bend space? Captain Rin couldn't answer. Even he didn't believe what he was seeing. Inside the warship, the officer stared at her screens. Commander, Shadow Field is holding. Krell weapons are losing accuracy. Voss nodded. Open silent cannons on ships 3 through 8. Yes, sir. The ship responded instantly. No sound. No flash. Only a faint blue ripple across the hull. Then, 5 Krell ships exploded one after another, like silent fireworks. The refugees watched in shock. How is it firing without sound? How can it destroy ships with one shot? Captain Rin whispered the only explanation he had. This is not a normal Earth ship. This is something darker. Something older. The Krell commander screamed orders. Bring in the cutters. Bring in the heavy torpedoes. 3 Krell cruisers flew forward, their hulls glowing red with heat. These were battering ram vessels, designed to crash through shields and explode on impact. They're going to ram it, someone shouted on the refugee ship. The giant warship didn't move. The Krell ram ships charged at full speed, screaming through the void. Impact in 5 seconds, the officer warned. Commander Voss stayed calm. Activate temporal distortion. The officer hesitated. That system is unstable. So am I, Voss said. Do it. She pressed the command. The lights dimmed. The hull glowed. And time itself shifted. From the refugee ship, it looked as if the human warship flickered like an old hologram. The charging Krell ships passed straight through it, as if it were only a ghost. They collided with each other instead, exploding in a violent fireball. Gasps filled the refugee vessel. It let them pass through. No, it stepped out of time. What kind of ship is that? Captain Rin stared at the warship with wide eyes. It's something the galaxy was never meant to see. Inside the warship, alarms flashed. Commander, distortion field dropping. Systems overheating. Shut it down, Voss said. Sir, that will leave us open to. I know. Do it. The warship returned to normal space. The glowing lines on the walls dimmed. Smoke rose from 2 damaged consoles. The officer looked at him. Why are we pushing this hard, sir? This ship was not meant for open war. Voss stared at the holographic map, the refugee ship trapped behind enemy lines. Because someone has to protect them. His voice cracked for the first time. Because no one protected us. The officer lowered her head. She understood. The remaining Krell ships gathered around their leader. This is our last chance. Destroy the human vessel. 12 warships formed a tight formation and fired at once. Red beams filled the darkness like angry fire. Commander Voss stood straight. Brace, he said quietly. The first beam hit. Then the second. Then dozens. The warship shook violently. Metal cracked. Sparks flew. Systems screamed in warning. The officer shouted, Shields collapsing. Voss gritted his teeth. Maintain position. But Commander, we won't survive another hit. He didn't answer. Another blast struck. The warship lurched. One engine flickered out. For the first time, the refugees saw the human ship take real damage. And for the first time, they felt fear for it. Captain Rin whispered, Come on, hold together. The Krell charged for the final kill. The warship dimmed, silent, wounded. Then Voss lifted his head. Prepare the counterstrike. His voice was cold as empty space. The officer nodded. Aye, Commander. A new weapon activated, one the galaxy had never seen. And the firestorm was about to begin. Smoke drifted inside the bridge of the human warship. Lights flickered. Screens showed warnings in red. The entire ship shook like a wounded beast, but it was still alive. Still dangerous. Commander Eric Voss stood firm in the center, calm even as sparks rained from a damaged console. Shields down to 20%, the officer warned. Hull fractures on the lower decks. One engine offline. Voss nodded. We hold position. Prepare counterstrike sequence. The officer hesitated. Commander, if we fire that system, the core might break. Voss didn't blink. We don't fire it to survive. We fire it to win. On the refugee ship, Captain Rin watched the warship take hit after hit. It's not moving. Why isn't it moving? A frightened woman cried. They're letting the Krell get close, a soldier shouted. Children hid behind their parents. The refugees weren't sure anymore whether the mysterious human warship was a savior or another monster. Captain Rin placed a shaky hand on the window. That ship didn't appear here by accident, he whispered. It came with a purpose. And what purpose is that? The officer asked. Rin stared at the Krell fleet gathering for the killing blow. I think we're about to find out. Commander Voss walked toward a sealed door at the back of the bridge. The door glowed with strange blue lines, as if alive. He pressed his hand against a panel, and the door slowly slid open. Behind it was a chamber the officer had never seen before. A long metal cylinder floated in the center, locked in place by glowing hooks of energy. Symbols covered its surface, symbols older than modern Earth language. The officer followed him, confused and afraid. Sir, is this the thing Earth hid? Voss looked at the cylinder with silent respect. This is the reason Earth disappeared, he said quietly. This is the reason we vanished from the galaxy. The officer's eyes widened. Then the rumors were true. Voss nodded. Earth wasn't hiding from the galaxy. Earth was hiding something from the galaxy. He placed his hand on the glowing cylinder. This weapon was built after the Krell attacked our outer colonies. It was too powerful, too unpredictable. The leaders of Earth locked it away, erased its records, and ordered us to vanish into deep space. Why bring it out now? She whispered. Because we didn't come here by choice, Voss said. You saw the emergency beacon. Someone cried for help. The officer frowned. The refugees? No, Voss said. Someone else. Someone who knew this ship could turn the tide. The ship's memory screen activated itself, projecting a faint image of a young woman. Long black hair, sharp eyes, and a uniform with an old Earth symbol. The officer gasped. Is that Admiral Saris? Her last message, Voss said. The recording played. To any surviving commanders. If the Krell rise again, activate the hidden warship project. Defend the innocent. Protect our people. And do not let the Krell uncover the truth of what we created. Earth must remain hidden. Until the right time. The message ended, fading into darkness. The officer stared at Voss. So this mission isn't revenge? No, Voss said slowly. This mission is protection. He walked back to the bridge. But the truth is, our enemy isn't only the Krell. On the Krell flagship, the commander watched the human warship with shaking hands. This is the same signature, he whispered. What signature, Commander? A younger Krell officer asked. The prototype that destroyed our invasion fleet 10 years ago. A silence slammed through the entire bridge. Impossible, the officer said. That ship was lost in the void. The commander bared his sharp teeth. Then it has returned, and we cannot let it escape. He pointed at the warship. Target its core. Destroy it before it uses the weapon we fear. All remaining Krell vessels moved into formation. They formed a ring around the human warship. 12 ships glowing red with power. Commander! The officer shouted inside the human warship. They are charging their heavy cannons. Commander Voss stopped at the center of the bridge. His voice was steady. Activate the chamber. Commander, once we do that, there is no coming back. I know. The ship began humming, a deep, eerie sound from its core. The refugees felt the vibration. Children covered their ears. The windows fogged from the shaking metal. Captain, the officer said nervously, something is waking inside that ship. Rin nodded slowly. And whatever it is, the Krell are terrified of it. Inside the human warship, blue veins of light spread across the walls, brighter than before. The cylinder in the secret chamber unlocked itself. One by one, The energy hooks released. The officer watched with fear. "What happens when we use it?" she asked. Commander Voss answered simply, "Either we save those people, or we destroy ourselves trying." He lifted his hand. "Begin counterstrike sequence." All 12 Krell ships fired at once. Red beams cut through the darkness, roaring toward the human vessel. The refugees screamed. The Krell roared. The warship glowed. Commander Voss spoke one word. "Now!" The cylinder exploded with light. A shockwave burst from the human warship. Silent, bright, unstoppable. And the battlefield changed forever. The warship stayed above the ocean like a giant shadow, and the whole world watched it with fear. But only a few people understood the real danger. That danger was not the ship. It was something inside the ship. Commander Rayon stood in the dark command room of the Earth Defense Facility. The screens around him kept showing the same message, blinking slowly, almost mocking them. "Observation in progress," Rayon whispered. "If they are observing, then what are they waiting for?" Dr. Maya stepped closer, her eyes filled with worry. "They are not studying the planet. They are studying us. Our reaction, our weakness, our defenses, and our fear," Rayon added quietly. The ship had not moved in hours, yet the sensors kept detecting invisible activity around it. Waves, pulses, strange vibrations in the air. It felt like the planet was being scanned by something too advanced to understand. Then a new alert flashed on the main screen. "Energy spike detected. Source unknown. Track it," Rayon ordered. The map zoomed in on the warship. But the spike was not coming from the ship. It was coming from around it, like something invisible was circling the vessel at impossible speed. "It's like something alive," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Something that sees everything at the same time." Another officer shouted, "Sir, we have movement." The warship's outer plates shifted for the first time. A large circular opening appeared on its underside, and a pale blue glow spread across the sky. The ocean below it started vibrating, small waves turning into violent ripples. Rayon's face tightened. "Are they preparing to attack?" Maya shook her head. "No. They're releasing something." A thin beam of light shot down from the ship, touching the ocean surface. But instead of burning or exploding, the beam spread like fog, dancing across the water and rising into the air. The fog-like light began to climb upward, dividing into thousands of small glowing particles. The particles formed a massive sphere around the ship. A global broadcast alarm went off. "Earth shield interference detected. Global network compromised." Maya gasped. "They're mapping the entire planet at once." Rayon stared at the glowing sphere. "Why?" Maya swallowed hard. "Because they're looking for something. And they believe it's here." As the sphere expanded, something terrifying happened. Screens across the world flickered. Cameras malfunctioned. Satellites glitched. Every digital system became unstable. And then the lights went out. Cities went dark one after another. New York, London, Tokyo, Karachi, Dubai. Like someone was turning off the world. Inside the base, emergency backup power switched on, filling the room with red light. "We just lost communication with half the planet," an officer said in a shaky voice. Rayon tried to stay calm. "This is a test. They want to see what happens when Earth loses sight." Maya whispered. "But what if they are trying to catch the person who summoned the ship?" Rayon slowly turned to her. "You think someone called them?" Maya nodded. "What if the ship was not coming for Earth, but for one human?" Before Rayon could respond, a chilling sound filled the command center, like a whisper moving through metal. The speakers came alive, but the voice was not human. It was cold, sharp, almost emotionless. "Identity detected. Target is on the surface." Everyone froze. Maya's knees went weak. "They found the person." Rayon stepped forward. "Can we locate who they're talking about?" The officer frantically typed into the console. "We're trying, sir, but their signal is rewriting our system. It's inside our controls." The alien voice returned, clearer this time. "Prepare extraction." Suddenly the glowing sphere collapsed inward and shot a beam straight toward the coastline of a nearby city. Reports started flooding in. Sir, people on the coast, they're collapsing. Some kind of pressure shock. No visible attacker. Something invisible is moving. Rayon felt a cold wave run through him. It's the thing we detected earlier. The invisible presence. Maya whispered. It's going after the target. On the coastline, a crowd was running in panic. Cars crashed into each other. The sky roared with the sound of something unseen descending. A small boy pointed at the air above him, crying, "Look!" A ripple appeared in the sky, like a distortion in glass. Then a humanoid shape slowly materialized. Oh! Metallic! Featureless! Eyes glowing white. It scanned the frightened people with a thin beam. One by one, the beam passed over every terrified face, skipping them. Searching. Ignoring. Hunting. Until it stopped. On a teenage girl frozen in fear, clutching a notebook to her chest. The machine spoke in the same cold voice. Found. The warship above the ocean changed its glow. A beam opened, ready to pull something back. Maya grabbed Rayon's arm. They're taking her. Rayon slammed his fist against the console. We have to stop it. But deep inside he already knew. Earth was not ready. And whatever the warship wanted, it was just beginning. The teenage girl stood frozen on the coastline as the glowing figure stared at her. Its white eyes did not blink. Its metal body did not move. It only scanned her again and again, as if checking invisible data inside her. Her name was Lena Hale, a quiet student who never caused trouble, never fought anyone, never even skipped class. To the world she was normal, completely ordinary. But to the warship in the sky, she was the target. The alien figure spoke again, its voice echoing across the beach. Confirmed. Extraction ready. The people around Lena backed away, terrified. Some shouted for her to run, but her legs felt locked. Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear nothing else. She had no idea why this creature wanted her. She had never seen anything strange in her life. At least she thought so. Above her, the warship opened a tunnel of blue light. The wind roared as if the sky was being pulled open. Sand swept upward. Waves froze mid-crash. The whole coastline trembled. Lena dropped to her knees, covering her ears. And then, a blast of red energy hit the metal figure from the side. The creature staggered. Lena looked up and saw two armored vehicles sliding onto the beach. Soldiers in black suits jumped out, firing strange red rifles designed for alien defense. They spread into formation, shouting commands. It was Earth's Special Counterforce Unit, led by Commander Rayon himself. Secure the girl, Rayon yelled. Do not let the entity reach her. Maya ran beside him, holding a portable scanner glowing with blue light. The moment she pointed it at Lena, the device reacted violently, flashing, buzzing, almost overheating. Maya's eyes widened. Rayon, she has the signal signature. Rayon didn't understand. What signature? The same pattern we detected when the warship appeared. She carries it inside her. Rayon glanced at Lena. Small, scared, trembling. She didn't look like someone who could call a massive alien warship. But Maya whispered, she might not even know. The metal creature recovered, its head turning toward the soldiers. Earth interference detected. Neutralizing. It raised its arm. A pulse of white light erupted from its palm. Vehicles flipped over like toys. Soldiers flew back, crashing into the sand. Weapons shattered. Rayon grabbed Maya and pulled her behind a fallen truck just in time as the pulse scorched the air above them. We can't fight it, Maya shouted. It's too advanced. Rayon looked at Lena again. Then we run. We take her and run. He sprinted toward Lena while Maya covered him, firing one of the fallen rifles. The shots barely slowed the alien figure, but they caused enough distraction for Rayon to reach the girl. Lena stared at him in fear. Why is it after me? I don't know anything. Rayon knelt in front of her. I know. But you have something they want. Something they think belongs to them. I don't understand. Another blast shook the beach. Maya slid behind a piece of debris and yelled, Rayon, we have to move. He grabbed Lena's arm gently but firmly. Come on. You have to trust me now. They ran toward the armored vehicles as the alien figure walked through the fire and smoke, unharmed. Its voice echoed across the coastline. The target cannot escape. The warship's beam widened. A powerful vacuum of air pulled upward, lifting sand, rocks, and broken metal. People stumbled as they tried to escape the pull. The entire beach felt like it was rising. Lena looked up at the beam. Something inside her chest responded to it, a strange warmth, like energy waking up. What is happening to me? She whispered, terrified. Maya had been watching her as they ran and finally shouted, Lena, listen! That ship is reacting to you. When you get close, its energy increases. Lena shook her head. I swear I'm normal. Why would they want me? Rayon didn't have time to explain. He pushed Lena into an armored vehicle. Get in! But before he could close the door, the alien figure appeared behind them. It moved faster than anything human. Its hand reached out for Lena. Rayon reacted on instinct, raising his weapon and firing point-blank into its face. The shot cracked its headplate but didn't destroy it. Instead, the creature tilted its head, as if analyzing him. You protect the target. Illogical. Rayon stood between the creature and Lena. You'll have to go through me. The alien's hand began to glow white. Lena screamed, Stop! Something exploded out of her. Not fire, not energy, but a shockwave that made the air fold in every direction. The alien flew backward, skidding across the sand. Rayon stared at Lena, stunned. Maya's voice trembled. Rayon! She activated something. Lena shook uncontrollably. I don't know what I did. Please help me. The alien stopped moving. It rose slowly, now studying Lena with a new kind of attention. Awakening confirmed. The warship's beam brightened, spreading across the entire sky. Maya whispered, They don't just want her. They need her. Rayon clenched his fists. Then we don't let them take her. Thunder rolled through the air as the warship aimed directly at their location. The extraction was seconds away. Earth had one final chance to fight back. The sky exploded with blue light as the warship's extraction beam widened, stretching from the clouds down to the beach like a giant glowing tunnel. The air vibrated with deep humming, strong enough to shake windows miles away. Everyone on the coastline could feel it, the gravity pulling upward, the wind moving toward the beam as if the sky itself wanted Lena. Commander Rayon pushed Lena behind the armored vehicle. Stay low. Don't move. But Lena couldn't stop staring at the beam. The strange warmth inside her chest kept growing, like a heartbeat that wasn't hers. Every pulse matched the light above, pulling her attention upward. Maya scanned the beam with shaky hands. Rayon! The ship isn't tracking her with sensors. Rayon frowned. Then how is it following her? Maya swallowed. It's following her signal. It's inside her. That's why it wants her. Rayon looked at Lena, scared, confused, trembling. What did they put inside you? He whispered. Before anyone could answer, the alien figure stepped through the smoke again. Its chest plate was cracked from Lena's shockwave, but its glowing eyes had not dimmed. It looked more focused, more determined. Target awakening confirmed. Proceeding with extraction. It raised its arm. The sand around Lena began lifting into the air. Small stones and pieces of metal floated as the pull strengthened. Rayon grabbed her shoulders. Lena, listen to me. Fight it. Don't let it take you. I'm trying, she cried. I don't know how to stop it. The alien figure walked closer, ignoring the soldiers trying to regroup behind it. Nothing slowed it down. Not fire, not bullets, not explosions. This time Lena didn't run. She lifted her shaking hands and faced the creature. Why me? She shouted. What do you want from me? For the first time, the creature stopped moving. Then, it answered. You were created for us. The words froze her blood. Rayon grabbed his weapon tighter. What does that mean? The creature turned its glowing eyes toward him. The girl is one of the keys. Designed on Earth. Programmed to link with our vessel. Maya's voice broke. A human linked to an alien ship? That's impossible. Not impossible, the creature replied. Necessary. The ship responds to her. She carries the other half of its mind. Lena shook her head in horror. I'm not a weapon. I'm not part of your machine. The beam above them flashed white. The ground shook. The pull increased. Rayon wrapped an arm around her, anchoring her to the vehicle. Lena, hold on. But her feet began to slide across the sand. Maya screamed. Rayon! Look, her skin! Patterns of blue light formed along Lena's arms, glowing faintly under her skin like thin veins of energy. The warship reacted instantly. Its massive form shifted. A deep pulse rolled through the clouds, like a creature waking up. The alien figure extended its arm. Come. Complete the link. Lena shut her eyes and screamed. I don't want this. I don't want to go with you. Her voice trembled with fear. And something else. Something powerful. A pulse of blue light burst outward from her chest. The sand blew back in a circle, the air cracking with static. The alien figure was thrown far across the beach, crashing into the rocks. The warship above flickered. Lights along its hull brightened, then dimmed. Rayon stared, breathless. She's connected to the ship. She's controlling it. Maya nodded slowly. Not controlling, influencing. The ship reacts to her emotions. Lena fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her face. I don't want to hurt anyone. Please. The warship suddenly changed the beam. The bright blue light shifted to soft white. The pull weakened, spreading slowly until it reached Lena. It wasn't pulling her now. It was waiting. Rayon stepped in front of her. Lena, don't move. Just stay. But Lena stood up. Her eyes reflected the beam. Her breath slowed. The energy in her arms dimmed. I hear something, she whispered. Maya grabbed Rayon's arm. What do you mean? It's like a voice, Lena said quietly. Not words. More like feelings. It's calling me. The beam brightened again, but gentle this time, almost warm. The alien figure climbed to its feet in the distance. Your place is on the vessel. Earth cannot protect you. Rayon stepped forward, furious. She's human. She stays with us. The alien tilted its head. She is more than human. She is the key. The beam lowered, touching the sand near Lena's feet. Wind circled around her like a slow vortex. Lena looked at Rayon and Maya, two strangers who risked their lives to protect her. I don't want to go, she whispered. But if I stay, the ship might destroy everything trying to reach me. Rayon clenched his jaw. You're not alone. We'll fight for you. Lena gave a sad smile. I know. Thank you. Then the light wrapped around her. Rayon reached out. Lena! His fingers passed through the beam like smoke. Lena's body lifted slowly off the ground, rising into the cylinder of white light. Her hair drifted upward. Her eyes glowed softly. The warship hummed as if welcoming her home. The alien figure spoke its last message. The key has been retrieved. With a final flash of white, Lena vanished into the sky. The beam collapsed. Silence filled the coastline. Maya dropped to her knees. Rayon stared at the empty sky, fists clenched, face burning with sorrow and rage. She's gone, Maya whispered. Rayon shook his head. No, she's alive. And we're getting her back. He looked up at the fading clouds where the warship had disappeared. Whatever that ship is, he said quietly, and whatever they've made her for, we're not done. The wind blew softly over the empty beach. A war had just begun.